Advancing to the Western Conference Finals for the second consecutive year, the Minnesota Timberwolves delivered a commanding statement in Game 5, dismantling a depleted Golden State Warriors squad that was forced to take the floor without the generational presence of Stephen Curry. In doing so, Minnesota not only sealed the series in 5 games, but also handed the Warriors a historic and humbling moment. Their first 4-game postseason losing streak under head coach Steve Kerr, an era otherwise defined by dominance, discipline, and dynasties. This victory was less about perfection and more about perseverance and team identity. Despite a rocky night from their rising superstar Anthony Edwards, who committed 7 turnovers in a display of occasional overexuberance, the Timberwolves showcased a rare balance and maturity. Edwards, often the emotional pulse of the team, offset his miscues with a playoff career-high 12 assists and 22 points, demonstrating growth not just as a scorer but as a facilitator. He may not have exploded on the scoreboard, but his evolving ability to elevate teammates is what powered Minnesota through 10 stretches. This is a mark of a maturing star, one whose influence transcends box scores. Yet, the game, and arguably the series, hinged on the contributions of Julius Randle, a player who arrived in Minnesota under clouds of skepticism. Long criticized for over-dribbling and disrupting offensive rhythm, Randle has undergone a metamorphosis since the All-Star break. He has emerged as a cornerstone for Minnesota, tonight pouring in 29 points, snagging 8 rebounds and dishing 5 assists. No longer a black hole on offense, Randle is now a multidimensional threat, willing to trust the system and share the load. His evolution is emblematic of the Wolves themselves, a team once chaotic, now cohesive. The Wolves dominated early, building a 25-point lead, though Golden State briefly clawed back into contention during a frantic fourth-quarter rally. Steve Kerr deployed a high-energy bench unit that included Moses Moody, who gave the Warriors a jolt, and Brandon Podziemski, who posted a playoff career-high 28 points in Curry's absence. But even their combined efforts weren't enough. The Wolves weathered a run and reasserted control, an achievement that speaks volumes about their resilience and confidence. Golden State, without its offensive engine, simply didn't have the firepower or depth to match a Minnesota team firing on all cylinders. Credit also belongs to head coach Chris Finch, who, after coaching with a knee injury during last year's playoff run, is now back at full strength and orchestrating one of the most disciplined units in the league. Minnesota is not just a story of stars. They're a collective build on defense, selflessness, and depth. Every starter finished in double figures in Game 5. Off the bench, players like Naz Reid, Dante DiVincenzo, and Nickeil Alexander-Walker continue to make crucial contributions. It's this well-rounded approach, offensive redundancy, defensive tenacity, that makes the Wolves a legitimate threat to any contender, whether they face the Oklahoma City Thunder or the defending champion Denver Nuggets in the next round. One thing is certain: Minnesota will not be taken lightly. They are playing connected, relentless basketball, and their upward trajectory suggests they are just beginning to scratch the surface of their potential. For the Warriors, however, the narrative is far murkier. The loss not only ends their playoff journey, but also forces the franchise into a crossroads moment. Though they have secured Jimmy Butler for the next 2 seasons, an acquisition that transformed them into the league's top defense post-trade, the absence of Stephen Curry underscored a harsh reality. Without him, even Butler's rugged two-way brilliance and Draymond Green's vocal leadership aren't enough to sustain Golden State's elite status. The synergy that has defined their dynasty cracks when Curry is missing. He is the system. Everything flows through him. Looking ahead, Golden State's front office must grapple with tough decisions. The aging core Curry, Butler, and Green still has championship aspirations, but time is an unforgiving opponent. Injuries loom larger. Consistency becomes elusive. There are also emerging complications, like Jonathan Kuminga, who was nearly invisible in the playoff rotation until Curry's injury thrust him into the spotlight. Kuminga responded with 26 points in Game 5, raising questions about his future with the team. He remains a tantalizing talent, but spacing concerns and an uncertain role next to the stars may lead the Warriors to consider moving him, possibly as a sign-and-trade candidate in restricted free agency. For now, the Wolves rise while the Dubs regroup. Anthony Edwards continues his journey from raw phenom to refined superstar. His story is one of grit, growth, and relentless will to compete. From a turbulent childhood marked by loss to the brightest lights of the NBA postseason, Edwards has never shied away from a moment. He's still learning, still growing, but he already impacts the game in ways few 23-year-olds can. And more importantly, he's making those around him better. That, above all, is a true measure of a star. His swagger is infectious, his personality magnetic. He carries the charisma of a seasoned showman and the instincts of an old-school competitor. He's got that thing, as one analyst said, that indescribable quality that draws eyes, that makes you care. Whether you're a fan, a critic, or a rival, you're watching Ant. And he's not just performing, he's leading. From Mike Conley's cerebral poise to Jaden McDaniel's defensive grit, this team is steeped in veteran savvy and youthful exuberance. Conley, long overshadowed in discussions of the NBA's premier point guards, is finally getting his flowers. A winner at every level. From AAU to the NBA, Conley is a calming force, the steady hand, the veteran voice that makes a good team great. The Timberwolves are no longer a feel-good story. They're a serious threat, calculated, cohesive, and climbing. And now, with the West wide open and momentum on their side, Minnesota's march continues. The howls are no longer in the distance. They're here, and they're only getting louder.